Get that money. Okay. Before we slowly start to head to the close, let's talk about some Algorand. I'm gonna pull up what is it? This one I wanted to look at. Algorand income. This is one of the charts I really wanted to look at. Um,
Yeah, so this is,
Comments on
I
this.
mean, I tried to put together what I've been following Algorand. I mean, this is my back of the envelope version. I've sort of read through all of the Algorand transparency reports, and I'm trying to flow. And what they're showing you is what the basic instance of an income statement is. So an income statement, usually you get the revenues on top, and then you get the operating costs, then you get the the other costs. Yeah, what's it cost to operate? What's it cost to pay people? Blah blah blah, and then you at the end you minus the revenue from the expenses, and that gives you an earnings per share. Well, that's traditional, but here they're sort of trying to show you what an income statement would look like for Algorand. Now, this is made in millions. This is described in Algorand, and Algorand at what price? See, that's a very tough thing
You got to do
because
some.
these numbers can mean a lot, but you can definitely see and follow where their spending is. You can see the participation rewards you know, have accelerated, fell off in T4, but they're back up again, assuming what I'm forecasting. I'm forecasting an increase pretty big in this year or next half year. You can see, the node runners. Remember, when you have 1,000 here, that means a billion. So you could see the early back node runners had such 2 billion of rewards
That's a lot.
tokens. That is,
It's
I mean,
20%.
yeah, that the
The
total
total
supply
supply. Yeah.
in a year. You had 20% of that in a year. Then you got the incentive. So it's just showing you what uh, what it all is individually. Then at the bottom, you could sort of see it all congregated. So you see the gray highlights coming in, and those
Yep.
are what make it a little more easier to stare at the bottom.
Yep. Ecosystem development, distribution channels. Yeah. So in T1, 2, 3, 4 is transparency reports 1, 2, 3, 4. If I'm correct, right?
Yep. So I just put
So this
the
is
thing
just
of
what they put out, and then you put it together in this document.
yeah, I really wish that they would put together like a thing like that, so it's much easier to follow because these transparency reports they've got just all this writing, and you got a number here, but then they talk about another number that's bolded, but then it includes a number that's not bolded.
And let's
So,
make it confusing, right?
well, it's just really hard to follow. I'm used to traditional earnings,
Yeah.
so it's just tough for me to put that together.
Okay. What about this one here?
Here, no, go to the DeFi, the other one.
Okay. Hold on.
Or just go. What do you want to talk about DeFi? Or do you
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
talk
I would
about?
definitely.
So I'm getting myself into so much trouble with this DeFi stuff. You
This
know,
one.
uh, well, yeah. I mean, that's a perfect one. Or yeah, DeFi. That's a fun one. So the point
Okay.
is, uh, I don't. As they said, the Algorand Foundation can do exactly what they want with their tokens. I mean, it is
Yeah.
their
They're tough
tokens.
facts.
They
You
can do
gotta
what
be
they
clear.
want, and they show us what they do. And so we were grateful for that. The
Shout out to
issue
the
that
Alpha.
what I have issue with is how they're it's not, I don't know if it's the Algorand Foundation that's doing it, but how the community is perceiving this as growth. Like
Yep.
I see on Twitter every 5 minutes that like, oh my God, is this a whale buying? This is proof that the DeFi on Algorand is expanding and we have new users and what have you and all this hype. But then at the end, when you look in the raw numbers, you just see that. Look at it. You can see on the between April 9th and 16th, back on the slide.
Oop.
Back on the Yeah, you see on the 9th and the 16th, in the middle, you can see that big spike up, and so you see the associated big spike up in
July 9th,
the
July
dollar
16th.
value. No, April 4/9, 4/16. You can see that
Oh, April.
big spike. Yep, and then you see more spikes right as you're seeing. But remember, why is this green line going lower and that's going higher? Well, it's because the token price is decreasing. So the
Mm.
dollar value is going to be going lower. So you need more and more tokens to keep the green line even. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That makes sense.
But recently you see this big spike on 7. I mean, look how much algo they started with. It was like 3. If you really want to start at like the second, it went from like what was it like 300 Algorand to nearly 598 Algorand within like 12 days. You know what I mean? Like Of course, that's from the foundation. Of course, that's from
You
venture
have to
capital.
do it.
That's not
Yeah.
that is not organic growth. So the dollar
No
value is
retailers are doing
rising.
that. Yeah.
No retail is doing this. Both not on the ninth, not on all of that. That is not retail. I mean, again, it's fine what they do, but when you add up, in the beginning on January 1st, we only had 41.8 million Algorand on DeFi. Now we have, as the last check, it's like 566 million Algorand. So
So
that is
that the thing is rewards.
so these are all
One could say.
rewards.
Yeah.
So again, this is not growth. This is rewards for the Algorand community to participate. But the problem I have with this is, they're stuck on trying to make governance like a thing. It's like it's like it to me. It's
Yeah, I
like
have some
trying to make
issues with
like
it.
some sort of saying, like try to make it catch on. But to me, it's not catching on. Like they're trying to like force governance as if it's something that's catchy, but the community is not really accepting it because the voting, you get a vote like what once a quarter or something on two
Yeah,
things,
once a
and
quarter, one or
two
two
things.
things max.
There's these wallet addresses you have like the top 50 wallets hold like 91% of the vote, so it's really just an exercise in futility in my mind. So I don't know
I
why
agree.
they continue to make governance like this big, like, oh, we're decentralized, we're this big, look at us. But really, when you look at it, it's not that. And the community is definitely not participating because if they're saying that this DeFi, because the problem I have with it is they were saying, look at all this total locked Algorand on DeFi. Well, remember, the tokens they're adding is that they're considering as locked for governance. So you're looking at this big locked number, but then you're like, well, they infused it all. So how is that growth? How is that? So, that's sort of my problem, is that what they're doing is just doing the same thing over and over, but now you could say it's through governance. I mean, at the end of the day, you're
Because they used to send it
participating.
to our wallets directly.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, it's rewards. So rewards means dilution. That's what that means. They may not be in circulation now, but they're coming, and they're going to come to your wallets, and you just sit there. You just sit there and accept it. And that's what I do. I just take it and I accept it because that's why our transaction values, that's why our transaction volumes are low, because it's you just sit on Algorand, more Algorand, and that's what we get. And all we get is no activity. What I want, or what I would think would be important, is nobody's coming to Algorand for our ASAs. I hate to break it to you.
Hey,
Nobody
I agree. I'm with you on that
nobody's
one.
interested in buying. I don't even know what an ASA, what's some of the popular ones,
You
but
even got a
nobody.
name.
Yeah, nobody's interested. Nobody outside the Algorand community is interested. And because Algorand cannot connect to the other major ecosystems, nobody could even get to it if they wanted to from their blockchain. So what I don't understand is when you look at these these DeFi protocols, and they're looking at the rewards they give out, they give heavy rewards for Algorand. But wouldn't you want to reward the people bringing the durable assets like Ethereum,
Yep,
Bitcoin, wrap
Bitcoin.
that over? Because what does that do? When the goal of DeFi should be making Algorand Bitcoin pair so liquid,
Yes.
and so you could seamlessly trade Bitcoin and develop your own Algorand Bitcoin exchange market. So then move it from Ethereum. So now people can, wow, I can trade Ethereum so quick, so
Cheaply.
so cheaply at volume, that why do I need to be on Uniswap? Why would you
Facts.
want to be
Yeah,
on that
because
when you're paying these huge trades?
because like I did, you were the one, because I was like, who was talking about this? But it was you that I was reading that about, because it's true. I agree. Like even for myself, when it comes down to it, it's Algorand, let's say USDC, and it's got to be Bitcoin, Ethereum. That's like the only thing I actually care about
Yeah,
in terms of the real liquidity and use case.
and it's so illiquid. And so nobody, if you can bring very liquid pairs to key assets, people will come because the transaction value is there. It'll show that Algorand is so seamless, it's so quick, it's so everything we want. But you got to create the assets that people want to come and trade. And when you have three different Bitcoin pairs, Folks BTC, Go BTC,
And we got
PBBT,
PBTC. Yeah. Yeah.
BO, BTC, and I don't know if it's true, but I think they're not even interchangeable. So not only are
I
you not
don't think so.
rewarding So you're not rewarding people bringing over the assets that could create liquidity and such good transactions that would cause people to come, but now you have that little liquidity we have, and you've got it split into 3 different pools. To
Yep.
me, it just, that is the part that I do not understand. You're not incentivizing people to come over and bring over assets that can expand the ecosystem to a wider audience, but instead you're doing the same thing as you always done, except now you're trying to make it sound as if governance, because again, what I swear there's a quote where somebody's trying to make a catchy phrase and they're like, dude, it doesn't work. I think that's sort of what governance is it's nice that they're trying to say we're a decentralized community, but at the end of the day, there's only 100 relay nodes. There is whale wallets. Let's just
Yep.
quit the
Yeah.
game. Let's just
Yeah.
call it what it is. But let's build this DeFi. And the DeFi needs to be built from the ground up, and it starts with liquidity pairs. And I would bring my Bitcoin over. I brought some, but I've taken some off because why would I risk Bitcoin if I'm getting no rewards? I'm getting 0.7% rewards on one of the protocols. Like, what am I doing with that?
Yeah. Might as
But
well
then
just leave
if I
it
bring
back in.
Algorand, I get like 6%. It doesn't make sense. So I really have a trouble with their DeFi plan. Like, what is their goal? How are they? I don't know the vision, because it's obviously not to bring over assets. They're not incentivizing it.
No, they're not.
And you know, and if you're rewarding if you're rewarding Algorand to people who just hold Algorand, it's like a chef eating his own cooking. It's like they're
Because
not getting new people.
we were gonna do it already. And so,
Yeah,
earning these rewards, we're just gonna keep doing it regardless. So that's what we do. But it is about like real question. How do I take Solana's liquidity, Ethereum liquidity, and like you said, incentivize them to use Algorand's DeFi? I don't
yeah.
know.
That's it to me. I just don't get how, like, what's the plan? You know what I'm saying?
Well, Stacy is bringing over a lot of city bankers and Citibank bankers and big corporate bankers. Maybe one of them
Well,
got an
and
idea with liquidity.
I would end. Want to definitely end with sort of this.
Yep.
This is sort of what I don't know, and it's why I've really had to readjust my thoughts on Algorand. Because remember, Algorand is the Algorand Foundation and Algorand Incorporated. Algorand
Mhm.
Foundation based in Singapore. Algorand Inc. is based in Boston. Now, Boston Algorand seems to be inking all these deals with
Yep.
LimeWire, with FIFA, with all these governments, and it's their deals that, remember, markets are forward looking. If you ever read George Soros's book, The Alchemy of Finance,
I got that one on my
markets are
list. Yeah, but
markets are always forward looking. So by the time it gets to that projected EPS, it'll sell off. It's about the expectations, and when you get worried is saying, I mean, look at Matic, look at Polygon. Disney said it's going to adopt a platform or use a platform, and it's jumped 25%. And you get these
yeah,
news
pissed me off.
articles that push these tokens. So why is it that Algorand, despite, if you want to, people can cite every news story thing they want, but all I know is the market doesn't care. Why is it that the market just simply ignores it? Now, I've said I don't worry, but it's like there's no way CBDCs are going to be on mainnet. That's going to be a co-chain. That's going to
Yep.
be a co-chain. I mean, and you look at the higher the priority, traditional finance, big financial institutions are not going to be on mainnet. So you have to really understand that. So when they're giving out these deals, are they licensing the tech for a co-chain, a private chain, or is they bringing something to mainnet? And that's the part that I think the market is wrestling with, is they do not know what the impact is, because are they just going to go to mainnet? Is this just going to be a licensed tech that does not filter into Algorand? And that's why I get concerned, is because they have all these deals, but the market is giving Algorand no premium. Again, the market's moving up right now, right?
Yep.
And Algorand is lagging. Even though it's moved, it is lagging a lot of the
Yep.
market. That is not a good sign. And, it's early. As I said, it's really early. We got these things. But when you look at Algorand objectively and you say, wow, the transaction volume is stayed the same from 2021. The transaction, the active users has not moved in over a year and a half.
That's not good.
These are not good signs of adoption because you've got no new addresses. So again, why are you giving rewards to these addresses that continue to not be active? And you incentivize just being stale because remember,
So what drives?
Algorand Inc. brings in revenue, but we don't get to see that.
No.
But we get to see part of what the Algorand Foundation spends. But the way they generate value is by inducing network effect. Network effect expands and gives the exponential value of the token price. So the revenue that the Algorand Foundation spends should be geared to and judged on network effect metrics. So far, it's not been good. It's been not very beneficial spending. So that's what we have to sort of delineate and sort of be patient. But at the end of the day, you have to know what we have to try to figure out what is it that the market knows that just because the market tells you things.
Yep.
So what is it that they are giving Algorand no premium? I mean, and even worse for it is Scaramucci is getting redeemed. I wonder how much of Algorand's sell pressure is forced selling from Scaramucci. What did Scaramucci not know? What did Scaramucci not get told that had him buy at like over $2?
Yeah, he bought a lot, and then I see he got some, reports are coming out that he's not letting investors
Take
withdraw
their
now
money.
too.
Yeah,
Yep.
and so
So
when Algorand's big venture capitalist, the big face of Algorand to the things is pausing redemptions, it does not look good for Algorand for big players because wow, this guy bought Algorand and he's stopping redemptions. It does not look good.
looks
So
bad.
there needs to be a total about face on the messaging on I think the implementation. I mean, they keep telling you to build for a long-term future, and that's fine.
Yep.
But you cannot have totally zero growth in all metrics for over a year and a half. Everyone is in the same bear market we are, and you have to sort of know what is it. So as I tell it, that's what I'm trying to solve. My whole goal is to figure out why we're getting no premium.
Yeah. I know,
Yeah,
man. We're gonna figure this out, and I definitely these are those type of conversations that need to be had more often to keep it real. I agree. Um, Man, that's
yeah.
something. So let's close out, man. Let's close out. Any I'll say, words of wisdom or things of that nature that possibly even Algorand Foundation could tap into.
Well, assuming I'm not blocked. But yeah, I mean, the Algorand Foundation, I mean, as I said, if Shadley was still the CEO, I would have sold all my stuff.
Mm, interesting.
Stacy's got the firepower. I mean, I believe in her. She's very vocal and present. So, you have to give the new leadership some time. You have to
Nice.
give them some time to build. And so it's 12, you have to give them at least
A
6
year.
to 12 months, 12 to 14 months to really establish themselves. So it's really tough. But the problem is, I still think even with after 6 months of Stacy in there, we still have. I still don't know the marketing roadmap.
Oh my God. We'll talk for another 30 minutes about
I
that. But yeah,
still
I
don't know.
agree.
I still don't.
Kellyanne is gone now. She just went to Ayrton Capital, so we don't know what really truly happened there. But she just jumped to the other side of the table. I don't know what
Yeah.
they're doing in terms of marketing. I have no idea.
So marketing. I mean, why don't you hire? Listen, we can't keep spending money on putting our name on a F3
It's
car
not a good idea. Or
or on a
Boston
freaking
Celtics.
or
Yeah.
a sailing ship. I mean, that is burned money. I mean, what does it do? I don't know why they don't just hire like Kevin Hart to go out and really attract users. That would be a much better use of capital.
I said hire Vayner Media with Gary Vaynerchuk. They'll blow that shit up.
So you need
That's what I would do.
because I mean I encourage everyone to read Arrington Capital's uh, write up on Algorand, Out of the Dark Ages, I think that's what it's called. But they said they said in the risks, the best technology does not always win.
No, look at Nikola Tesla, the real,
Yeah,
the real Tesla. He had the
yeah,
best stuff, but the
yeah,
businessman and won, not the inventor. It was the what's his name?
yeah. They actually use V8. They actually use like VHC tapes. But the point of the matter is, if you have the best tech and nobody knows about it or nobody use it, then
Doesn't matter.
the whole world's going to get used to the other technology.
Yep.
At some point we have to get users. We have to get growth. And right now, I think that's why we talk about all of that. But I think the growth in users, the key to that is in the DeFi. And I just get frustrated when you see this this really stagnant DeFi approach. But we'll see. I really like AlgoFi. I like the DeFi protocols. I'm just wondering what's the Algorand Foundation vision for it. So let's see. I mean, as I said, we're on this, but again, we could go for hours.
Yes, we'll call this one a great show. Again, let me slide you out, do a closeout. Because you're bored, I appreciate the breakdowns. Always a pleasure. Definitely got to bring you back, and when the time permits and it fits, for sure. And yeah, great work too. And keep charting, keep going ham on Twitter because we're watching. And I got some people. I'm not gonna name them, but they said unblock them,
Yeah,
unblock them.
you know what? I've been on. It's sort of funny because Stacy, like, she mercy and blocked me, but I've been blocking people left and right, not because really, I don't really block people. I just block people that either I consider just a blind apologist that just do not like. You just want to shake them in the head and go wake up, or just make some slick ass comments and not even really trying to
Yeah, they talking
participate.
shit, or they just
Well, I
love
mean,
an
they're not.
algorithm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I talk my own game too, but it's just like when I'm posting and they just say the same old lines, and it's not even it adds nothing to the conversation. And I was like, I gotta find the people that will alter. And so since I've done that, I've actually had some new accounts that I'm interacting with and DMing with
Yeah.
that's much better. So who knows? Maybe.
That's a win. Okay, cool. All right, fam. I'm gonna slide you out. Appreciate you.
All right, my man. We'll see you.
Yep. Hey y'all. So another great macroeconomic big picture look at the economy, the world, and of course, Algorand. So shout out to Because You're Bored. Make sure y'all go follow him on Twitter. He's been a reoccurring guest laying that fire down. And on this channel, on Passive Income Network, we definitely appreciate the information and education. So that way we can all become better at what we're doing. We invest in for our future selves and our family. So make sure y'all have a good one. And again, share this with all the rest of your folks. See Will with the Passive Income Network. I am gone. Algorand, 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 Algorand. See the crypto, a digital face. 2021 fiat replace. Had to have it. Bank account by Algorand. Large amounts.